On New Year's Eve, Lauren receives news from her boyfriend, Peter, that he has gotten a job at a major consulting firm across the country. Despite knowing she is about to sign a lease for an art gallery, he doesn't consider her plans. Peter insists the opportunity is too big to turn down and assures her they'll talk more about it after the party they're hosting. With her mood ruined, Lauren finds solace in her drinks. She shares the news with her friend Nick and Tara, an acquaintance from her art class. They urge her to sit down for a moment, and in the process, they also come across Sydney, a track star who is reeling from being dumped for the fourth time by her boyfriend. Now that's a track record. It seems this New Year's Eve isn't going well for almost anyone. The four women exchange relationship advice, and Lauren suggests they make a promise to be there for each other. Instead of calling themselves the Heartbreak Club, Nick insists they're the Love Club, and they all toast to it as the New Year countdown begins. 10 years later, Lauren is married to Peter, and they have a daughter, Stephanie. However, their marriage is struggling. Lauren wants a divorce and has already started the process, though she remains hesitant. Lauren tries to get updates on an art curator position, but things don't go well. Feeling discouraged, she finds herself drawn to a small framed picture of the Love Club and eventually sends out a message, admitting that her life feels like it's falling apart. The next day, the three women respond with a video call, suggesting they reunite. With Peter gone, Lauren's house feels empty, so they offer to fill it with their presence, which deeply moves her. True to their word, they arrive, happy to reconnect with each other. They quickly get to the heart of the matter, and Lauren opens up about the divorce. She's always felt left behind with Peter. She gave up her dream of becoming an art collector to support Peter's career, yet he never seemed to care about hers. Nick always thought they had the perfect story. High school sweethearts turned married couple. But not all stories have perfect endings. Tara quickly lifts the mood, urging Lauren to try a dating app. Hesitant at first, Lauren finally gives in, with the others crowding around her. However, she gets shocked to see Peter on the app. That was a fast one. It pushes her to finalize the divorce papers and she signs them, ready to move on with her life. Peter stops by to pick up Stephanie's book and is surprised to see the ladies. Lauren, unimpressed, hands him the book and quickly sends him on his way. Unfortunately, the signed papers got drink spilled on them, and Lauren promises to request a new copy from her lawyer. After he leaves, the ladies point out that Peter still has a key, but Lauren dismisses it as a convenience for him to grab Stephanie's things. She then heads out for her job interview. The ladies decide to intervene, believing Lauren isn't ready to let go of her marriage despite her words. Afterwards, they put their plan into action, inviting Peter to stay for dinner when he drops off Stephanie. Lauren hesitates, but eventually agrees after Stephanie's plea. However, the dinner turns out to be awkward and tense. Hoping to ease things, the ladies get Peter and Lauren to prepare dessert together while they clean up. They realize their plan won't work and decide to help Lauren move on instead. The next day, Nick feels uneasy about giving up and urges Lauren to have dinner with Peter and Stephanie to reconnect as a family. She believes there's still a spark, but Lauren is unsure of her feelings. Meanwhile, Tara suggests setting up Lauren's dating profile and snaps a few pictures of her. Lauren realizes the only thing she can mention is her love for art, but she lacks an active career. Nick encourages her to open a gallery, reminding her of the art she has collected and the opportunity to showcase new artists. Lauren loves the idea and jumps right into it, while Tara successfully uploads her dating profile. Later, Lauren checks out a potential gallery space and meets Carlos, an intense artist who lives in the studio upstairs. She decides to take the space, though Carlos might be part of the reason. Meanwhile, back home, Tara tells Nick and Sydney that she messaged Peter using a dummy account on the dating app. This will help them figure out if he's really moved on and what to do next with Lauren. At the office, Peter's friend Dan urges him to take the dating app seriously. Turns out Peter was also pressured into joining, but his mood sours when Dan reveals that Lauren has a profile. Seems he still has feelings for her after all. Back home, Lauren excitedly shares that she signed the lease for the gallery and mentions Carlos. Now the ladies have an even bigger challenge in getting her back with Peter. Later, Lauren visits Peter's office to borrow a painting she once gifted him, only to be shocked when she sees him with Serena, a date from the app. She quickly hides to avoid being seen. Disappointed by this, she leaves after a while, taking her paintings with her. Back at the gallery, Lauren tells the ladies about Peter's coffee date and declares it's time to start her own journey since that ship has clearly sunk. Just then, Carlos arrives and introductions are made. He connects with Lauren over her art, to the ladies' dismay. Looks like her ship has already been boarded. The next day, Lauren brings new art pieces to set up at the gallery. Carlos stops by again, gifting her a sculpture. She's not sure what it is, but she compliments it anyway. Their encounter grows heated, nearly leading to a passionate kiss, but Lauren pulls away at the last moment. She doesn't want to rush into anything, and truthfully hasn't moved on from Peter. Carlos understands and gives her space, heading upstairs while she focuses on setting up the gallery. Meanwhile, while picking up Stephanie, Sydney comes up with a plan to have Stephanie insist that her parents plan her birthday together. She enlists the help of Nick and Tara, who visit Peter's office to invite him over. Back home, Lauren is surprised to see Peter, and Stephanie eagerly urges them to plan the party together, just like every year. Lauren, unable to say no to Stephanie, agrees, and they get to work. As they reminisce about past parties, the mood is light and nostalgic, until Peter gets a call and has to rush back to work. The party is a huge success, with the kids enjoying various activities. Lauren and Peter also get along well, and he's surprised to learn she's opened a gallery. He congratulates her, acknowledging her passion, which surprises Lauren since she thought he had forgotten. Playfully, he reveals a self-portrait he's painted, making the moment lively between them. Lauren gets a text about picking up lights for the gallery, and Peter offers to watch Stephanie, which touches her heart. Nick, Tara, and Sydney witness the sweet moment and become even more convinced that Lauren and Peter still have a connection. That evening, Lauren visits Peter's house and finds him and Stephanie under a makeshift tent. She joins them, and for a moment, they feel like a happy family again. After Stephanie leaves to grab more pillows, Peter asks about the gallery. Lauren excitedly shares her progress, having secured many artists and serious collectors. Peter is proud of her and offers his marketing team's help to boost the gallery. Lauren is touched and thanks him. She then asks about his work, and he shares details about a new project. Peter asks for Lauren's input on his project, trusting her perspective. She shares creative ideas, which he readily agrees to. They work well together, making Peter wonder where things went wrong. Lauren points out that their marriage became all about him and he never considered her dreams. Though he never stopped her, he just stopped asking about them. Peter apologizes for making her feel that way and says she should have spoken up. Maybe things would have been different. Just then, Stephanie asks Lauren to sleep over, but she declines since the ladies are waiting. To make it up to her, she promises to pick her up with her favorite smoothie in the morning, giving her a big hug before leaving. The next morning, Lauren receives a wine subscription for tasting, a tradition she and Peter used to enjoy. She keeps forgetting to cancel it since their separation. This gives the ladies an idea to get Lauren and Peter to do the wine tasting together. At the gallery, Lauren supervises the hanging of her sign, Mind's Eye Art Gallery. Carlos stops by and compliments the name. She admits she's had it for 10 years, but never used it. Carlos suggests they celebrate with a date, doesn't give her a chance to decline, and adds his number to her phone before leaving. Tara calls Lauren, letting her know they've taken Stephanie out and will drop her at Peter's place later. Since Peter plans to pick her up from the house, this sets up the perfect chance to get him and Lauren together. Just as Lauren is about to call Peter with the update, he arrives. She explains the change, and when he notices the wines, she suggests they do a tasting like old times. He happily agrees. Plan successful. They enjoy themselves, reminiscing about the past. Peter then asks if she has any regrets from their New Year's Eve party 10 years ago, since that was when they made big decisions about their future. Lauren has no regrets since their choices led to Stephanie, making the moment intense. She steps away to get something, but Peter sees a message from Carlos on her phone. His mood shifts, and by the time Lauren returns, he's ready to leave, which disappoints her. Their problems seem to be a cycle of misunderstandings. Later, the ladies return, and Lauren shares her time with Peter. She feels revisiting old memories isn't wise since they're separated. Then she surprises everyone by announcing she's secured a date with Carlos. Lauren feels everything has already changed, so it's time to move on. On her date, Carlos takes her to the Diplomat to admire art, but his attention drifts to a waitress, leaving Lauren unknowingly talking to herself. Appalled, she calls Nick, Tara, and Sydney, who are seated nearby, to leave. Just then, she spots Peter arriving for a date with Serena. Her decision shifts instantly, confusing the ladies, until they also notice Peter, leaving them stunned by the unexpected turn of events. Lauren fakes a loud laugh to catch Peter's attention, and it works because he's shocked to see her. He struggles to focus on Serena, too busy watching Lauren instead. Serena eventually regains his attention, thanking him for offering her a job at the firm. This means no official date between them, not that Peter seemed interested anyway. He's clearly not over Lauren. Lauren, determined to make him jealous, cozies up to Carlos, leaving Peter devastated, before excusing herself to the ladies' room. Nick, Tara, and Sydney follow, and she vents her frustration over Peter's so-called date. Lauren plans to leave with Carlos, but will make an excuse to ditch him once they're outside because she wants nothing to do with him. Meanwhile, Peter, still with Serena, notices Carlos flirting with the waitress and heads to the bar. Lauren arrives and introduces Carlos to Peter, pointedly mentioning she's going back to his studio to make Peter jealous. As expected, it works. Frustrated, Peter returns to Serena but can't shake it off. Eventually, he makes a decision and rushes after his wife. Lauren tries to ditch Carlos, but he kisses her unexpectedly, right in front of Peter, who watches in disappointment. After Carlos leaves, Peter comments that Carlos doesn't seem like her type, but Lauren fires back about Serena. He tries to explain, but Serena appears, cutting him off. Feeling defeated, Peter wishes Lauren a good night and heads back inside, leaving her feeling disheartened. The next morning, Lauren confesses to the ladies that despite achieving her dream with the gallery, it doesn't feel as amazing as it should, because Peter isn't there to share it with her. Peter has always been the man of her dreams, and admits she put her own dreams on hold to be with him. She never wanted to let him go, because he was, and still is, a big part of them. But now, it feels too late. The ladies refuse to let her give up and encourage her to tell Peter how she truly feels when he drops Stephanie off. Their support gives Lauren the confidence she needs. Later, Peter finally decides to sign the divorce papers. When he drops Stephanie off, he hands Lauren both the signed papers and his house keys, leaving her with an overwhelming sense of sadness. Though Lauren tries to get Peter to keep the keys, he refuses, believing he no longer has a place in her life or the house. He leaves, and Lauren is heartbroken, realizing everything has finally fallen apart. The next morning, the ladies rally around her for emotional support, knowing how much the gallery opening means. Lauren insists she's fine, but it's clear she isn't. After she leaves to prepare, Stephanie reveals a surprise painting she made, leaving the ladies amazed. Nick suggests unveiling it at the gallery opening, determined not to give up on Lauren and Peter. Everyone excitedly agrees. The event turns out to be a huge success, and to Lauren's surprise, Peter shows up to support her. The ladies are behind Peter's arrival, having invited him earlier so he could see Stephanie's painting. He proudly congratulates Lauren on her success. The highlight of the night comes when Stephanie reveals her painting of the three of them as a family and delivers a heartfelt speech that touches everyone. Lauren and Peter, deeply moved, embrace her warmly. However, the moment is interrupted when Carlos comes downstairs, prompting Peter to excuse himself and leave, much to Lauren's disappointment. Upon stepping outside, Peter hesitates, second-guessing his decision. Realizing he can't walk away, he turns back to express his feelings, only to be surprised when he finds Lauren already there, having followed him. She begins to speak, but words aren't necessary. Peter closes the distance between them, pulling her into a passionate kiss, making the moment deeply romantic and special. They confess their love, embracing the second chance they've been given. As they lean in for another breathtaking kiss, they revel in the love that never truly faded. Looks like their story gets a happy ending after all.